Welcome. Today we're going to be looking at some geometry. So the problem I have here is we have information that zi is equal to 3x minus 4, il is equal to 4x plus 5, and zl is equal to 22. What is the value of x? Find zi and il. So it looks like they're giving us chunks of a segment, and then they're telling us the entire length of the segment. So what we have here visually is we have an entire segment here where we have one point is z, and then we have another point somewhere between z and l. I'm not going to call it the middle or the midpoint or anything because it doesn't say it's the midpoint. It just says z to I and then I to l. So I'm just going to put I right about here. Doesn't really matter. And then I'll put l over here. So what we do know, though, is between z to I is 3x minus 4. And then we also know I to l is 4x plus 5. And then we're also told the entire length from z to l is 22. So what we know is then one part of the segment plus another part of the segment is equal to the total segment length. So we're going to say zi plus il is equal to the entire length of the segment, zl. So if I have zi is 3x minus 4, so I'm going to say zi is 3x minus 4 plus il is 4x plus 5, and that is equal to the entire length of the segment, which is 22. Segment addition postulate, I believe, is the name in geometry. Now, from this point, it's just solving equations. I always like to tell my students, like, don't be intimidated when you are in a geometry class. Just master the geometry, and then the rest of it is algebra. Like, just make sure you understand all the definitions and what the terms are telling us, because then from here on out, it's just algebra. It's just solving equations. So at the beginning of every semester, I always say, if your solving equation skills are a little bit on the weaker side, you want to spend some time now doing that. So when we get to these kind of problems, once we understand the geometry, the rest of it should be the easier part of it, where we're just solving equations. So we're going to do 3x plus 4x, which is 7x. I'm going to do negative 4 plus 5. 5 minus 4 is 1, equal to 22. Solving a multi-step equation here, or two-step equation in this case. So subtract 1, we're left with 7x equals 22 minus 1 is 21. Divide by 7, x is equal to 3. Now, here's another thing I always like to say when I teach geometry. We're not done. Make sure you're answering all parts of the question. A lot of people get to a class like geometry and just get an x value, and then they think they're done, because in algebra, usually we're just solving for some sort of x in some cases, but there are multiple parts to some geometry problems. So here they want the value of x, which we just figured out was 3. We got that. But then there is a second question that's asking find zi and il. So we actually have to identify, well, what are the lengths of these two segments? So zi is going to be 3 times 3 minus 4. So zi is going to be 3 times 3, which is 9, minus 4. That's going to be 5. And then il is going to be 4 times 3 plus 5. So il is going to be 4 times 3. That's 12. 12 plus 5 is 17. So il is 17, zi is 5, and then x is 3. So we've answered all 3 questions that they're actually asking. Thanks for watching.